What up, y'all? Welcome back to the Imperfect Action Show. It is, what's the date, man? April 7th. So that means it's episode 34, which is crazy, which means I've been doing this for what, 7 weeks now? Yeah, right? Seven
Let's
times four. Yeah,
go.
7 times one. Yep. 34. And on today's episode, we got a good friend of mine. Uh, and I asked her if she would come on the show. I mean, let me give y'all some context. I was supposed to come on one of her platforms. So I had to create a whole new platform, have 33 episodes, just so I can get her on the show.
The shame.
Let me give y'all a little bit of context. But seriously, I'm super excited, grateful and thankful to have Giselle on the show this morning. Welcome to the Imperfect Action Show.
Thank you. No, honestly, this is like a dream come true. It truly is. Like Brandon is truly the man. I admire him so much, and it's really an honor for me to be here and talk about the impact of networking. So I'm excited.
So let's do a little bit of I guess I could say like some homekeeping. So I just sent a
Mhm.
text out to the community. So for those that don't know, maybe it's your first time tuning into the show. Maybe you're part of our amazing community. We got some amazing people that tap in daily. Whether it's live or they go back and watch the replay. But on the Imperfect Action Show, we give you strategies, lessons, principles around business and marketing so that you can take this information in real time and implement it into your business so you can get a result, you can learn something, make an adjustment, and get you closer and faster to the success that you're looking to attain. So on today's show, our amazing guests, I always ask the guests what they want to talk about. I never really lead with what I want them to talk about. I always want them to bring something that they feel passionate about. And then I asked G, and she was like, she wanted to talk about the real impact of networking, which I thought was a really interesting topic, right? So why don't we just get into it? So let's talk about that. So number one, why was that a subject and a topic that you wanted to share and discuss?
Yeah, no. Well, first of all, I wanted to share it because it has really been an amazing skill in my personal life and in the success that I've had in my personal and professional life. So I know the value it has firsthand. But also I see the lack of networking skills within the communities that I have been a part of. Some of them, and I am originally from the Dominican Republic, but I reside in Boston, Massachusetts. And I see that there is a lack of network within that community, within that city. And for the past few years, you could say before the pandemic started, I have been in an ongoing intentional journey to bring the communities together, the communities of color, entrepreneurs that are just starting. For instance, I just did an event, a women's brunch, where I brought women together so that we can all connect, that we can all embrace each other and pour into everybody's vision. So I can see the value and the impact and the power that is behind networking skills. So that's why I had to bring it to your show for sure.
So what is within that power, right? Because you talking about like even on this brunch. So this is kind of like a two-part question, but I'm gonna just leave with this one first. So talking about this brunch that you just had. So what was the power and the impact for you to first of all have the foresight to put it together, but then once you put it together, what happened in real time with the women once they actually came together and they had the ability to network and then commune with each other?
So I have to say, I was the type of person that if I didn't get the space or the safe space to come in and feel comfortable to network with other people, I would never do it. I would never leave my house. So what I thought about is that if I, instead of waiting for me to have the opportunity for somebody to bring that space for me, why don't I create that space for myself and for other people? So I started with women, because I know the power and the value womanhood has in my life, and sisterhood and the community within women. So I started there, but that's not my only concentration. I aspire, and I am planning on having more events where it's going to be co-ex, you know, both genders, both sex. But the reason why I was like, you know what, let's do this, it was because of that. And what happened in that event was out of, like, I wasn't even thinking about it. I didn't know that was gonna even happen. We saw a breakthrough happen. We had an event, an activity at the event that we did, which was to put down on a piece of paper something that is holding you back, that's not letting you really make that next step in your personal or professional life. And you're going to literally take the paper and say out loud, I will not let blank limit me from living my purpose and a fulfilled life. And women's were just breaking, tearing that apart with so much value and intentionality that you saw the change. That's right. You saw the change after. And I got feedback of how that impacted their emotional stability, right? Because that's something that I wanted to touch upon today on this episode about network. You cannot think of network as its own thing. Network comes from your ability to really tap into your mindset, which, by the way, I'm wearing your sweater, millionaire mindset. um to tap into that mindset, right? To have an objective, a goal, what's your purpose, and then tap into your emotional stability. How are you going to maneuver and manage your emotions so that they cannot limit you, or they can actually be on your side for you to make that next step and network? And then obviously after that, we can talk about other things about after you make that step, what would come after that, and what are some of the strategies that I have planned to give people today. But yeah, I hope that answered your question.
But that definitely answered my question. But like I said, it was a two-part question. I really like how you kind of broke it down there when you were saying it, and make sure that you correct me if I'm wrong here. You're talking about networking is not its own thing. Networking is the ability to tap into the mindset and have the objective and a goal to tap into your emotional ability. Did I get all that down correctly?
Correct.
So look, another thing, y'all. I'm hosting, so I'm taking notes. If y'all ain't taking notes, y'all ain't got no excuse. I always like to say that. Um, so the other part to the question is this, because you basically showed us in real time. Okay, I had this intention, I planned it, I got some women together to network with intention. They have
Yes.
some breakthroughs. They ripped the paper and some other things are going on. How do you think that type of impact can be translated digitally, right? Because we're moving more Web3,
Yeah.
metaverse. We're on a virtual podcast show right now. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about that real quick, which is the other side of the question. What is the impact with networking digitally?
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. The era that we're living on is making everything easier and easier each day that goes by. So we really don't have really an excuse to not network. We have LinkedIn, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have TikTok, which I don't have. I need to get one. But
Hey, hey,
so we
you
have
gotta, you gotta do this. I will not no longer have a TikTok.
what? Give me the I will have.
Well, if you say you will have, you can't rip it. That's why you gotta use the double negative, yo. I will not have. I will no longer not have.
Exactly. Exactly. So we have all of the platforms necessary so that you can reach out and be in touch with people that are miles and miles away from you. So what are some of the ways that you can do that? For me, I really value LinkedIn and Instagram the most. On LinkedIn, you have the ability to really reach firsthand professionals that are doing things that you're interested in. For instance, I am going to be a software engineer very soon. This upcoming July, I will be starting my career. I am currently in school. I go to Brandeis University, double majoring in computer science and business. And computer science is a new realm in my life. I came across it when I started college, and I'm fairly new in the industry. So I decided to start that as my career. I don't know much about it. So what have I been doing? I go on LinkedIn and I literally look up for software engineers that are in the Boston area. Or if you're looking for a specific company, you can look up for software engineers at Google, software engineers at Amazon, software engineers at whatever it is. You narrow it down your search, and then you look at the individual's profiles. And if there's anything that catches your attention from their profile, you go ahead and click that message button, and you do it like it would be an email. You go, hello, so and so. I hope this message finds you well. You never want to say how are you because I'm professional. You never know what how the person is really doing. So you don't want to remind them of their day if it's going bad. So you don't want to say how are you. So you would want to say, I hope this message finds you well, or I hope this whatever finds you well. My name is so and so. I am currently a da 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 da. I am aspiring to be one day in your role, and I'm looking for advice on how to maneuver that job or whatever it might be. I'm hoping if it's possible to get 15 minutes of your time. You never want to ask for 30 or an hour because people's time is valuable. So 15 minutes, it's decent time and reasonable time. And you would say, I would love to catch that. And then you send them your availability. You give them a month of your availability. I am available from Monday through Friday from this time to this time, and my schedule is open from April 7th to April 30th. You do that. You go right into the thing, right to the point. Now it's up to them if they want to do it. And let me tell you, nobody would ever say no to you, especially if it's through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a platform for professionals to really be in there engaging with other professionals and pouring into each other's professional journeys. So nobody would ever say no to you. And I don't even think anyone is really out here trying to reject you, because I think, and I'm very positive about this, that people are always willing to help. I've never come across anybody that wasn't happy to do so. So
So
that's
that's
a
very,
way to do it.
that's very interesting, and it's kind of like you gave like a mini master class on how to network with those couple of minutes. So one of the questions I have for you in regards to that is, where did you get that strategy? Because it could be some people that may be a little anxious, a little shy, even though it's digital, right? They're not going into a situation where they're meeting people in person, where they actually have to physically walk up or start a conversation. But it's there's still some digital anxiety out there. There's still some virtual discomfort and some fear around just starting a conversation. So where did you get your strategy on how to kind of like approach a brand new conversation and network with a stranger?
Absolutely. I actually, that was one of my bullet points to talk about today in the networking episode of personality. One of them was personality. We have extroverts, we have introverts, and we have people down in the middle. But I once heard, this is actually something that Plato once said, that the beginning is the most important part of the work. And I believe that's literally the foundation of networking. The beginning is the most important part of the work. And when you think about that, right, that again, we tap into the mindset. If you let your personality and the limitations that may come from your personality, because there are pros and cons of being an introvert and pros and cons for being an extrovert. So it's never like one is better than the other. But you have to really understand what are the pros and the cons of your personality type. So when you understand that, you can really have that objective like, hey, the beginning is the most important part of my work. So, how am I going to set that foundation for myself so that when I decide to step out, I'm already somewhere where I feel safe and I feel like I did not have to like go beyond and above from my comfort zone. Because it's okay. You don't have to be too uncomfortable, right? We want you to feel safe as a person. Because then if you don't feel safe and you don't feel really comfortable, then you cannot really be your true authentic self. However, you want to pass that threshold where you can at least still push yourself, because if you don't push yourself, there will never be change. So you have to think of it like that. I want to see change. I want to have a strong foundation. So I have to push myself to not let the cons from my personality limit me from networking with this individual.
Do you feel like, and maybe it's the same, but do you feel like based on your experience, is it easier to have a digital interaction with someone for the first time, or is it easier to have a physical? And do you prefer one or the other?
Well, um, I think it depends on the season we're in. Um, During the pandemic, I honestly preferred digital network, because during the pandemic, my mental health was really targeted. My mental health was really not there, and my emotional stability. So I knew I wouldn't have that mental capacity to meet with somebody in person, or even after the pandemic, like fairly after the pandemic. It was just a few months ago that I became again, and I've been like really going to therapy and really prioritizing my well-being, so I can again get out of the PTS, post traumatic stress,
Yeah,
uh,
PTSD.
PTSD that we experience, right, through the pandemic. So I would say it depends on the season that you're in. But but the benefits from virtual network is that the person can already get a mini background of you already immediately. So they can go on your LinkedIn and see your job experiences, your volunteer experiences, or what you're currently doing and what you're what are you involved in. Or if it's on Instagram, they can already see some of the things that you're interested in, the post, the value of your post, what is it that you are engaging in. They can see that. In person, though, there needs to be more of a little bit more work, because you need to give them your background, and that's when you need to know how to do your elevator pitch, because your time is everything. People are not going to be listening to you for more than 5 minutes. You have to really take those 2 to 5 minutes to really sell your elevator pitch and let them know why it's worthy of their time to give you another 10 minutes, right? So, how can you crunch in that time being your background, what you're interested in, and what is your ask from the networking thing that you're doing in that moment?
So
So,
you're gonna hit us with an elevator pitch real quick.
oh, sure, I could do it.
Hey, because on imperfect action, we out here taking that imperfect action.
Yeah, I can do that for sure. You want to do it now?
Let's get it.
Okay. So an example of an elevator pitch can be, for me, for instance, now that I'm looking for professionals within software engineering. This is how I would go about it. If it's in person, I would say, "Hi, my name is Giselle," and probably we already had crossed that, where I know the person's name already, and I would say, "I'm currently a senior at Brandeis University, double majoring in computer science and business, and I have secured a software engineer position at Liberty Mutual. I'm very interested in your successes and in your story on how you became the software engineer that you are today, and I would love 5 minutes of your time or 15 minutes of your time anytime between now and by the end of the month. I would love to talk deeper about my interests and some of the projects that I have been involved in. Some of them being is that I created my own app called so and so, and da da da." There you go. You
You
give them
know,
something about you.
what would be crazy?
What?
I'm thinking like for people that don't have that down, or maybe that was like, wow, it's that easy, or whatever the case may be. That might actually be dope. Even like let's say like a elevator pitch template. That's maybe like a link in your bio. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Where they could go to your page, see your YouTube channel, but there's a link that say, hey, free, free networking tool. Free, you know what I'm saying? And you literally you basically carve out the little paragraph. What do you do? Your name, something that's currently going on right now, compliment, boom. So they can just literally insert the adjectives or insert the things that they need, and they can like literally just memorize that script, and then they can get that, and then it's a lead magnet. So then you can develop your community online by getting the emails. You know what I'm saying? I do this marketing thing, so you know what I'm
I
saying?
love it.
A little bit, you know what I'm saying? So now you're helping people develop their elevator pitch, right? You're helping them get a little bit more comfortable with what to say.
Mhm.
And then you're able to commune and network with them on the back end because you're growing your list, you know?
Absolutely. That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah. So
Yes.
somebody was asking me today, I was in the gym, and this is the power of networking. So I'm gonna give y'all a small little backstory. Then we're gonna let Giselle talk about some of the things that she wanted to talk about today. So I went on a walk yesterday. We stopped by Chick-fil-A, and in the drive-through, this dude was in a Tesla with his girl or whatever case may be. Had the windows down, so I noticed that he was a person of color. I have a Tesla group, and it's really targeted to drivers of color. So he's literally in the drive-through. I walk up to him, go to the car. I motioned him to roll the window down. He rolls it down. I said, "Hey, what's going on? Look, man, I noticed you got a Tesla. Clearly, you're a person of color. Clearly, I have a Tesla group for you and me." So we exchanged contact, talked a little bit, told him about the group, sent him to Instagram. Over, right? But we made a connection. That's not why I want to tell you all this. Fast forward, today I'm in the gym, right? I'm just in the gym banging out, going from set to set. All of a sudden he stops and he's like, "Yo, don't I know you?" And I'm going through it. I'm like, "Nah, I don't think so." But then I was like, "No, you're the dude from Chick-fil-A." So he told me about him. He gave me his elevator pitch in that moment because it was a different context. He asked me on me, and this is what I say, right? I said, "Hey, what's going on? My name is Brendan. I help coaches and consultants that struggle with marketing get clear on their messages so they can get more clients and sell more of their product and services and build a community." That turned into a whole
Wow.
45-minute conversation. Now we're in the gym, not working out, talking about logistics, trucking, what I'm saying? Talking about restaurants. I'm finding out how he owns, like a pretty good trucking fleet. He's sharing with me about different mindsets. He invited me to his entrepreneurship book club. He introduced me to the homie. Now we're talking about NFTs. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about also networking because he had a friend of his that was a little afraid to start conversations because he was overthinking and he wants to have more relationships with women in terms of building relationships with women. So it's just so crazy that you just never know the power of networking, right? But one of the things that I think would be actually cool for people to kind of think about this, like look at network as a game. So I'm pretty sure everyone has played or remember the game Mario. So remember Mario had to either hit the little boxes with the question mark or we have to hit the little bricks, right? And then something would come out. It would be like, like a star, a mushroom, something would come out. You never know. But look at networking like that. Everyone's like a little mystery box or a little brick. And then as you build in these networks and as as you're communing with these people, something pops out. And it could be a friendship, a relationship. It could be, a resource, a material. It could be a new subscriber, a new follower. It could be a sale. You know what I'm saying? It could be something that leads to something else into the future.
Yeah.
I just had to share that because that's something that you brought up to me, and that's literally the power of network. So if I didn't stop him in the drive-in at Chick-fil-A, we wouldn't be able to be building like this the next day because I would not have seen him. There would be no reference point, and we would never had that conversation. So
Yeah.
look at everyone like a little mystery box. You don't never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. That's funny you say. First of all, kudos to you for doing that. But that's something that I wrote down as one of my bullet points today too to touch upon, and it's to think about networking as a two-way street. So when you think about network, sometimes it feels like you're becoming a burden to the person, especially if you're the one that's asking for and initiating it. But when you think of it as a two-way street, you value what you can put into the table, what you bring to the table. You need to have, which is basically what you said, Brendan. When you reach this person, you said, "I have this Tesla group that it would be for you and me," right? So you know that there's something that you can offer to that person, as well as you're asking for the time and asking for whatever it is that you're asking from them. So when you think of it that way, that you are bringing value to the table, it's not just a one-way thing where you are just pulling from them or taking out of their cup. You're actually also pouring into them because, like you said, there is a mystery box. So you are also a mystery box for them. It's not like
Exactly.
not only breaking their mystery box, they're breaking
Mhm.
yours, and you never know how both of you can interchange value. So that's
So we
true.
got a couple of questions from the community. So one is from Chandra. She says, Chandra, she says, where do you go to find in-person networking opportunities? Eventbrite, or where would you go?
Yeah, so I would definitely say utilize the platforms of social media. One of them could be Facebook or LinkedIn. There are multiple groups that you can search for. If you're interested in women's group, you can literally just put on the search bar women's group in or women's networking group or activities in the Boston area or wherever it is that you reside. Also on Instagram, there are a lot of pages. Like you said, Brandon, yours is a Tesla group that or community. So if you look up those keywords of community, network, women, whatever, software engineer, whatever it is that you're interested in, you will start seeing a bunch of things popping up. Eventbrite is also a good one because there, as soon as you go to one event, it starts giving you suggestions for more events that are similar to that. So you can also use that to go to in-person events. I will also encourage you to I don't know what she or he may be involved in, but if there is any group that you have been a part of, I would really encourage you to ask the people that you know and ask the people that are within your community about any activities or group or events that they know about. So that way you already have somebody that's been a part of those things. So combination of recommendations. So for me, in Boston, there are a lot of nonprofit organizations that I am a part of. So like Freedom House, like Women of Purpose, that's one. And at Brandeis University, I'm a part of many clubs here. So I hear people's experiences in these groups, and then I tell myself I should go try it too. So use your community, use the platforms, and use those keywords when you do your search.
So we got another question for the community too. This one's from Ty. She says, "What's the best way to network in a room that you don't know anyone?"
Okay, energy is everything. Energy. I'm an energy person. I trust my intuition so much. If you listen to that inner spirit in you that's telling you something is feeling right, go for it. If you see somebody that you really feel like, yo, they're a vibe, I like that person. I encourage you to, if there are some pastries in the room, if there's anything in the room, grab two, walk up to the person and be like, I don't know if you're allergic to this, but I honestly think you are. I like what you're talking about, and I would love to get to know you a little more, and just give them a pastry. So if there's anybody in there that you're like, I don't really know, but listen to the energy. Who are you being attracted to? Who is it that you're pulling the chemistry? Who is it that's catching your attention? And go for it.
One thing that I would like to add to that, and this one's pretty good too. Everything that Giselle said right there, I would definitely agree with. And I think the pastry or the muffin situation that would make you stand out. They would definitely remember you, and that's also a great way to break the ice, whether that person is solo or with a group. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and they would probably be like, "Yo, I actually want a muffin." Like that would, or they'd be like, "No, I'm lactose, so I'm gluten or whatever." But it would start the conversation, right?
That
So one thing that I would just add to that is you could literally go up to someone that, like you said, like that either has the energy or even someone that um maybe by themselves, because sometimes and everyone goes to these networking joints and they want to network, but they still be to themselves, right? So what I would do is I would say, hey, what do you know that no one else knows in this room?
mm,
You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, they
mm.
would definitely give you answers, or so they would share something that maybe they're passionate about, or something that led them to the room, or maybe a project or an assignment that they're working on, or maybe they got a YouTube channel, maybe they're currently investing in crypto. It's gonna spark something that they're gonna 100% share, or they may just be like, "Yo, that was a clever way to start the conversation," but it will 100% get it going and break that invisible layer of ice, fear, or whatever. So
I
you guys start actually having a conversation.
Yes. So basically, the three things we mentioned is you can have a unique way of breaking the ice, meaning you can share a pastry or something. You can have a very like powerful, meaningful question that Brendan just said. Like, what is something that you know that nobody here knows? Or you can start with a compliment. People love compliments. Obviously, appropriate compliments. You never know who are people now are very sensitive. So be very careful with the compliment. But you can, compliment somebody's way of conversing or the way they maybe the attire, another guy's tie. If you like ties, if you like belts, I don't know. And then just break the ice with a simple thing. You don't really have to overthink it, but just go for it. That's the first one.
So listen, guys, if you have any other final questions, drop them in the chat. Today on the Imperfect Action Show, we are talking about the real impact of networking with Giselle. Definitely make sure that you guys follow her. I put her Instagram above, but it's at revolutionary_G fitness. So make sure you guys follow her. It's actually right there underneath her as well. Let's just go. Let's do a quick little recap of some of the highlights that she said, and then give you the opportunity to make sure that people follow you. And if you have anything else going on, that they understand, what you currently got popping off. So we talked about networking is not its own thing. It's the ability to tap into the mindset and have an objective and a goal and tap into your emotional ability, which I think is a great, great definition. A couple of other points that you mentioned is there's no excuse to not network, right? We have social media, we have all these different platforms necessary to reach out and connect with people that are miles and miles away, which I think is also great. Um, you could use networking to reach professionals. You can be very, very intentional, whether you're going with the hashtags or searching a specific category or a specific type of professional or category or level of interest. Um, one of the things you were saying is when you start conversations, even especially with the digital, giving that energy of like, hope this message finds you well, as opposed to starting it off another way, right? Giving a little bit of grace. A couple other things that we talked about was the power of having an elevator pitch on deck, right? And you're gonna make that template because I know you are. Beginning is the most important part, and it's the most important, place where you're gonna actually start to do the work. Three unique ways to break the ice is obviously having a unique kind of way to go about it. You talked about the muffin, pastry, having a powerful, meaningful question, right? That we also touched on, and then also utilizing the compliment. So I actually have one final question. Let me see if the community had anything else. I don't want to miss anyone's question. So my question is, before we wrap it up, is what are some networking do's and don'ts? What are like 3 do's and 3 don'ts?
Yes. Three don'ts. Let's start with the don'ts. Don't don't overdo it. Don't be overly excited or overly pushy. Always pay attention to the energy and to the reciprocity between the two parties, between you and the other person. So always maneuver that. Be very intentional to be self-aware. Number two is to don't know when to step up and step down. Um, you want to make sure that you let people around you feel comfortable to also speak up and to initiate things. I am usually an initiator, so I have to also understand ways where I can step down and let other people be challenged to be initiators as well. So always maneuvering that. And then number three, um, don't overthink it. Don't overthink everything. Just flow and be organic. Just anything that first comes into your thought and your intuition is usually the right thing. So just go for it. So don't overthink it, don't overly do it, and know when to step up and step down.
What are the do's now?
The do's. So be your authentic self, like truly who you are. Be that person. I believe that sometimes people, like for instance, an example would be, um I'm missing out the word. When you change like the phone, like when you change your way of speaking depending on the person, what's that called again? You know what I'm talking
Tone?
about? No. But
You
anyway,
talking about like mirroring?
no. Just be your true authentic self. Don't try to tone yourself down or don't try to change and maneuver things based on the energy. You don't change energy. You make energy. You don't match energy. You create energy. So be that person that is very grounded in who you are. So just be yourself. That way you can attract the right people. Number two, make sure that you always look right. That is important. I believe that people sometimes say, I don't need to be always dressed up or anything like that. But honestly, humans are we the first thing we see is how we basically the first impression that we get. So make sure that you always tied up, you looking nice, you looking fresh, being yourself. You don't need to change your style, but just look nice, look right, look tidy. And then number three is to always be prepared. Have an elevator pitch, have an ask, and make sure that you can also share what are some of the things that you are a part of that may be valuable for that networking moment.
So one final question from the community, and then I'm gonna give you the opportunity to let them know how they tap in with you. All right. So Chandra asks, "Is the business card dead?"
Dead. It is dead. It's so dead. Don't vote. Hold on. Have a business card because you never know. You can have a simple business card that you can give out to people. But I encourage you that nowadays, if somebody grabs it, it's very low the possibilities for them to put it in their purse or in their bag or in their pocket. There is a chance they might throw that away. So, more secure way to network with people and to get their information is to really connect through LinkedIn, Instagram, or anything that's more permanent. It's a more permanent follow. A piece of paper might not. The possibilities might be very low. So have your business cards if you have them. Don't throw them away, but just also not only give the business cards, also connect digitally.
I think that's a great answer. Okay, so look, you came on here, you was breaking down all this networking. You gave us a lot of juice, a lot of sauce, a lot of spice. So how can they follow you, tap into you? What do you have going on so they can learn more about you?
Yes. First of all, thank you, Brandon, for giving me this opportunity. It's definitely something that I'm happy to be a part of. You're doing amazing. You're an amazing leader. I admire you. I tell you that all the time. And I'm very happy to have you in my circle. And I love you. And some of the things that you can tap into in terms of me, I love this man. Some of the things that you can tap into in terms of me, you can follow me on Instagram, revolutionary_G fitness. You can also follow me on LinkedIn or connect with me on LinkedIn, which is my first and last name, Giselle Ureña. And you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's my first name and last name, Giselle Ureña. There, I have a YouTube channel that it focuses on personal development, entrepreneurship, and lifestyle, where it's a talk-based show. I come and bring people like Brandon to talk about important conversations that in terms of entrepreneurship, personal development, and lifestyle. And I also bring you into my everyday life. So it's not only a talk-based show, but it's also a transparent platform for me to show you how I go about my life and how I maneuver things in this real world. So I hope that you follow me and we can become family and tap in.
All right, guys. So look, make sure that you follow her on Instagram. You see it right there. I threw it in the chat. Revolutionary_G Fitness. Also on YouTube, youtube.com, Giselle Urena. Or you just put her name in the little search. It'll pop up. I did it earlier. So thank you for taking the time to stop by, sharing all your gems and all your jewels. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you for being episode 34. Tomorrow, guys, we are back with episode 35, which is crazy. That means next week we're going to be at episode 40 by the end of the week, which is unbelievable. But I use this I literally use this show not because it's a show and I like doing it. It's called an Imperfect Action Show because I want to encourage you to take imperfect action. That's literally how the show started, and we're about to be at episode 40. So whatever you're thinking about, whatever you thought about, whatever's been in your mind and brewing, and you just haven't taken the action, or maybe you haven't taken enough action, this is why this show's here. It's for you. So go out and do the thing today. We will see you guys tomorrow. This is the Imperfect Action Show. Peace.